Imagine this. At her sister's wedding, Zofia gets her laptop smashed by the groom who calls her a nerd, not realizing she's an elite hacker about to unravel his web of lies and theft. If you've ever faced family betrayal, hit like and stay tuned. The justice served here is mind-blowing. I'm Zofia, and sharing this story feels surreal but necessary. I had to fight back with everything I had to save my sister from that nightmare, and I'm grateful for the chance to show how determination can turn the tables. Act 1. Hash the perfect illusion. The champagne flutes catch the light from the crystal chandeliers as I sit here in this ridiculous bridesmaid dress. Sage green taffeta that makes me look like an expensive lampshade. My laptop glows beside my untouched salmon, and everyone thinks I'm just being antisocial Zofia again, working on Maya's wedding slideshow while the rehearsal dinner swirls around me. If only they knew what I'm really looking at. My fingers hover over the keyboard as lines of code scroll across my screen. Julian's revolutionary algorithms, the ones that made him a tech darling and convinced my sister he was her Prince Charming. But something's wrong with this picture. These patterns, I've seen them before. Still working, Zo? Maya's voice floats over from the head table, tinged with that gentle exasperation she's perfected over the years. The slideshow doesn't have to be perfect. I force a smile and wave, just making sure everything's ready for tomorrow. The lie tastes bitter, but it's easier than explaining that her fiancé's proprietary code looks suspiciously like an open-source project I remember from MIT. The timestamps don't match, the architecture is identical, but I need more time to confirm what my gut is screaming. Julian catches my eye from across the room and raises his wine glass in a mock toast. His smile is all teeth, no warmth. He's been watching me work, and something in his expression makes my skin crawl. Like he knows exactly what I'm looking for. The code patterns look familiar, but I need to dig deeper to prove what I'm seeing. 6 months ago, Maya's apartment smelled like vanilla candles and new beginnings. She practically floated across her hardwood floors, her engagement ring catching the afternoon light streaming through those enormous windows she'd saved 3 years to afford. Look at this rock, Zo. She held out her hand, and the diamond was impressive, easily 3 carats, flawless cut. Julian says it belonged to his grandmother. Isn't it gorgeous? I examined the ring, noting the modern setting that definitely wasn't vintage, but I kept my mouth shut. Maya was glowing in a way I hadn't seen since she'd passed the bar exam. He's going to take care of everything, she continued, spinning around her living room like a teenager. The wedding, the house, all of it. He says I don't need to worry about money anymore. Isn't that amazing, Zo? My stomach clenched. This was the same Maya who'd worked 3 jobs to help me through MIT, waitressing at night, tutoring on weekends, selling her textbooks to buy me a graphing calculator. She'd sacrificed her own dreams so I could chase mine, and now she was talking about giving up her law career to be a supportive wife. What about your partnership track at the firm? I asked carefully. Julian thinks it's too stressful. He wants me to focus on starting a family. Her smile faltered for just a moment. Besides, with his company going public, we won't need my income. I watched my brilliant sister, the woman who'd graduated summa cum laude, who'd won the state moot court championship, who'd never backed down from a fight in her life, talking about making herself smaller for a man she'd known 8 months. But she was happy. Genuinely, radiantly happy, and who was I to question that? Back in the present, the rehearsal dinner continues around me as I dive deeper into Julian's financial records. My security clearance opens doors he never imagined existed: government databases, financial tracking systems, international banking networks. The privileges of being a lead cybersecurity developer for a firm that handles federal contracts. What I find makes my blood turn to ice. Systematic transfers from Maya's trust fund, the money our grandmother left her, the nest egg she'd been saving for a house. $200,000 in January, disguised as a business investment. $500,000 in March, labeled as wedding expenses. Another $1 million in April, filed under joint venture capital. $2 million. He's been bleeding her dry for months. The transfers are elegant, professional, designed to look legitimate to anyone who doesn't know how to trace the shell companies and offshore accounts. but I do know how to trace them. And every single dollar has ended up in accounts controlled solely by Julian Thorne. My hands shake as I screenshot the evidence, storing it in an encrypted folder. Around me, the rehearsal dinner continues, Maya's law school friends sharing embarrassing stories, our mother crying happy tears, Julian's groomsmen toasting his good fortune in finding such a devoted woman. He's not just stealing her money, he's stealing her entire future. I corner Maya in the bathroom during the dessert course, my phone clutched in my sweaty palm. The marble countertops and gold fixtures of this 5-star hotel bathroom feel like a stage for the most important conversation of my life. Maya, I need to show you something. She's touching up her lipstick, still glowing with pre-wedding joy. Can it wait? Julian's about to give his speech thanking everyone. It's about Julian, about your money. I hold up my phone, the banking records displayed in neat columns. He's been transferring funds from your accounts without. Her face transforms, not into confusion or concern, but into fury. Pure, blazing fury directed entirely at me. Are you serious right now, Zofia? Her voice is low, dangerous. The night before my wedding, you're going to start this. Maya, please, just look at the... No, she whirls around, her careful makeup unable to hide the hurt in her eyes. You've always been jealous that someone actually loves me, Zofia. That someone wants to build a life with me instead of hiding behind a computer screen all day. The words hit like physical blows. That's not what this is. Isn't it? When was the last time you went on a date? When was the last time someone looked at you the way Julian looks at me? Her voice cracks. I won't let you destroy this because you can't stand that I'm happy. She pushes past me toward the door, then stops. Stay away from my wedding, Zo. I mean it. I can't have you poisoning this day with your bitterness. The bathroom door slams, leaving me alone with the evidence that could save her life and the knowledge that she'll never forgive me for showing it to her. When I return to the ballroom, Julian is waiting. He's positioned himself at my table like a predator who's cornered his prey, his tuxedo immaculate, his smile sharp enough to cut glass. Zofia, his voice carries across the room, drawing attention from nearby tables. I was just telling everyone about your career. The way he says career makes it sound like a hobby, a cute little pastime. Julian, I keep my voice level professional. Around us, conversations are quieting as people sense drama brewing. It's so sweet how you work with computers, he continues, his voice dripping with condescension. Maya tells me you do something with security, like making sure people's passwords are strong enough. Scattered chuckles from his groomsmen. I feel heat rising in my cheeks, but I maintain my composure. He doesn't know. He has no idea who I really am or what I'm capable of. Something like that, I say quietly. Well, I'm sure it keeps you busy. Probably doesn't leave much time for other things, relationships, social lives. His eyes glitter with malice. Some people just can't stand watching others succeed, can they? The table falls silent. Even his groomsmen look uncomfortable now, but Julian isn't finished. Maya's so lucky to have found someone who appreciates her brilliance, someone who can provide for her properly. He leans back in his chair, the picture of satisfied superiority. Not everyone gets that kind of happy ending, do they, Zofia? I could destroy him right now. With my phone, my access, my skills, I could bring his entire world crashing down in 30 seconds. But Maya's words echo in my head. Stay away from my wedding. Instead, I smile. No, Julian, not everyone does. While Julian basks in his victory and the family shoots me pitying looks, I calmly pull out my phone and continue my investigation through encrypted channels. If Maya won't listen to me about the money, maybe she'll listen about everything else. Because the deeper I dig, the more horrifying the truth becomes. Julian Thorne, tech entrepreneur and MIT graduate, doesn't exist. The man my sister is marrying tomorrow is a ghost, a carefully constructed identity built on stolen credentials and fabricated history. His MIT transcripts, forged, his previous work at Google, a lie, his startup's revolutionary code, stolen from an open-source project developed by graduate students 3 years ago. But it gets worse. Marcus Chen, 2019, married Sarah Liu, drained her accounts, disappeared after 8 months. David Rodriguez, 2020, married Jennifer Walsh, left her bankrupt and pregnant. Julian Thorne, 2021, currently engaged to Maya Nowak, scheduled termination, tomorrow night. 3 names, same face, same playbook. My hands are steady as I screenshot everything, building an evidence file that would make the FBI weep with joy. Bank records, identity theft, marriage fraud, financial crimes across state lines. Julian isn't just a con artist, he's a serial predator who specializes in brilliant, successful women. Women exactly like my sister. The room erupts in thunderous applause as Maya rises from her chair, her face radiant with joy and something else, a secret she's been holding close. "Julian and I have one more announcement to make," she says, her voice carrying clearly across the ballroom. "We're not just celebrating our wedding tomorrow. We're celebrating the newest addition to our family." The room explodes. Chairs scrape back as people leap to their feet, champagne glasses clink, and our mother starts crying all over again. Maya's hand rests protectively on her still flat stomach as Julian pulls her close, kissing her temple with what looks like genuine affection. But I'm watching his face carefully, and what I see isn't surprise or joy. It's cold calculation. He's not surprised because he already knew. He's not joyful because this isn't about love, it's about timeline. The pregnancy accelerates everything, gives him the perfect excuse to take care of his pregnant wife, while he drains every last asset she has. My phone buzzes with an encrypted message from my contact at the bureau. Sarah Chen, Julian's previous victim under his Marcus Chen identity, was left abandoned and broke while 6 months pregnant. She lost the baby from stress and malnutrition after he disappeared with her life savings. As the room celebrates around me, toasting Maya's happiness and Julian's good fortune, I stare at the photo on my screen. Sarah Chen in her wedding dress, glowing with the same joy Maya radiates now. He's done this before, and tomorrow he's going to do it to Maya. The only question is whether I can stop him without destroying the sister I love in the process. But as I watch Julian's cold smile and Maya's trusting face, I realize something that makes my blood run cold. Stopping him might be the only way to save her life. Tomorrow isn't just Maya's wedding day. It's Julian's final performance. And I'm the only one who knows how this show is supposed to end. Act 2. The Desperate Gambit. The hotel room at 6 a.m. looks like a hacker's fever dream. Empty coffee cups form a defensive perimeter around my portable equipment, 3 laptops, a signal booster, and enough cables to wire a small building. I haven't slept. Can't sleep. Not when Maya's life is hanging by a thread of lies and forged documents. My fingers fly across the keyboard, using advanced social engineering techniques to infiltrate Julian's company servers. A phishing email disguised as a security update. A spoofed IT support call to his assistant. Layer by layer, I peel back the digital facade of Julian Thorne's empire. And there it is, the smoking gun. MIT transcripts with metadata showing they were created last year, not graduated 8 years ago. Employment verification, letters from Google that reference departments that didn't exist during his supposed tenure. Shell companies funneling cryptocurrency through exchanges in the Cayman Islands, each one dissolving the moment the funds clear. But the most damning evidence sits in a folder marked projects, 3 detailed timelines labeled with women's names. Marcus Chen lasted 8 months with Sarah Liu. Engagement, joint accounts, pregnancy, disappearance. Net take, $1.8 million. David Rodriguez lasted 6 months with Jennifer Walsh. Same pattern, faster execution. Net take, $2.1 million. Julian Thorne has been active for 14 months with Maya Nowak. He's getting better at this. More patient, more thorough. Net projected take, $3.2 million. I screenshot everything, my hands steady despite the horror building in my chest. This isn't just theft, it's a systematic destruction of women's lives, refined with each iteration like debugging code. The pregnancy announcement last night wasn't a joyful surprise. It was the trigger for phase 3 of his timeline. Marcus Chen lasted 8 months. David Rodriguez, 6. Julian Thorne's been active for 14 months. He's getting better at this. At 1 p.m.,
5 hours before Maya walks down the aisle, Julian corners me in the hotel lobby. He's not alone. 2 men in expensive suits flank him, their posture screaming private security despite the legal briefcases they carry. "Zofia," Julian's voice is silk over steel. "I think we need to have a conversation." The lead suit steps forward, producing an official-looking document. "Ms. Nowak, you're being served with a cease and desist order for cyberstalking and harassment. Any further contact with Mr. Thorne or his fiancé will result in immediate arrest." I scan the document. It's real enough, filed through a law firm I recognize as specialists in intimidation tactics. But something else catches my eye: timestamps showing I allegedly attempted to break into Julian's office building last night. Security footage, they claim, witnesses to my erratic behavior. All fabricated, of course, but convincing enough to fool Maya's mother and the bridesmaids, who have apparently already been shown the evidence of my breakdown. "Maya's very concerned about you," Julian says, his fake sympathy making my skin crawl. "Work stress, romantic jealousy, it's understandable, but we can't have you disrupting our special day with these delusions." The second suit leans closer. "We've also filed a report with hotel security. You're to stay away from the bridal suite and the ceremony preparations." I look around the lobby and realize how perfectly Julian has orchestrated this. Other wedding guests mill about, close enough to overhear, their expressions shifting from curiosity to pity. The crazy sister, having a breakdown, the jealous spinster who can't handle her sister's happiness. "I've destroyed women a lot smarter and prettier than you," Julian whispers, his mask slipping for just a moment. "Maya will thank me for protecting her from her psychotic sister." The suits retreat, leaving me standing alone in the lobby as wedding guests whisper and avoid eye contact. My own family thinks I'm losing my mind. My sister has been turned against me, and Julian has just demonstrated exactly how untouchable he believes himself to be. But he's made one crucial mistake. He's underestimated exactly how dangerous a cornered hacker can be. At 2:30 p.m., with 3.5 hours until ceremony, I use my security clearance to access federal databases, checking for any existing investigations into Julian's activities. What I find makes my blood freeze in my veins. Documents have been filed with the SEC suggesting Maya is an unknowing accomplice in money laundering. Forged emails in Maya's name authorizing suspicious transfers. Bank records showing her digital signature on transactions she never made. The dates go back months. He's been building a case against her since they got engaged, creating a paper trail that makes her look complicit in his crimes. When Julian disappears after the honeymoon, and he will disappear, the pattern is clear. Maya won't just be left bankrupt and pregnant. She'll be left holding the bag for federal financial crimes, money laundering, wire fraud, securities violations. The kind of charges that destroy legal careers and send people to federal prison for decades. I stare at the screen, my hands shaking as the full scope of his plan becomes clear. This isn't just theft. It's the complete annihilation of my sister's life, designed to ensure she can never come after him, never rebuild, never recover. He's not just stealing her money and disappearing. He's making sure she takes the fall for his crimes while he vanishes into his next identity. He's been building a case against her for months. When he disappears, Maya goes to federal prison. The pregnancy isn't just part of his timeline, it's part of her punishment. A pregnant woman facing federal charges, abandoned and broke, with no resources to fight back. I close the laptop and lean back in my chair, staring at the ceiling of my hotel room. Maya thinks I'm having a breakdown. My family thinks I'm jealous and delusional. Julian has isolated me completely while positioning my sister for total destruction. But he's forgotten something important about hackers. We're at our most dangerous when we have nothing left to lose. At 4 p.m., 2 hours before ceremony, I realize my only option is to expose Julian during the reception slideshow when all the guests and evidence are in one place. If I can't reach Maya privately, I'll have to reach her publicly. I slip into the venue through a service entrance, my laptop bag slung over my shoulder. The Gothic church is stunning, soaring arches, stained glass windows, enough space for 300 guests. But I'm not here for the architecture. The AV setup is in the basement, professional equipment for the reception slideshow, connected to the venue's main network. If I can upload my evidence script to replace the wedding photos with Julian's crimes, every guest will see the truth simultaneously. But when I try to access the main system, I hit a wall. Julian has changed all the passwords and installed monitoring software. The bastard anticipated this move. However, during my reconnaissance, I discover something interesting. The AV technician's laptop is connected to the venue's network with much weaker security protocols. It's a backdoor Julian doesn't know about, a way to access the system through the tech guy's machine instead of the main server. Access denied. Network administrator, J. Thorne, but his AV guy isn't as careful with security. I plant a dormant script in the technician's laptop, designed to activate remotely when I trigger it. The file will replace the slideshow photos with my evidence package, bank records, identity theft documentation, photos of his previous victims. It's not elegant, but it'll work. Julian protected the front door, but left the back window wide open. As I slip back out of the venue, I catch a glimpse of Maya in the bridal suite, radiant in her wedding dress. She's laughing with her bridesmaids, completely unaware that in 2 hours, her entire world is going to explode. I'm about to destroy her wedding day to save her life. And I still don't know if she'll ever forgive me for it. At 5 p.m., 1 hour before ceremony, my phone buzzes with alerts from the surveillance apps I've planted in Julian's communications. What I see makes my stomach drop. He's moved up his timeline. The final bank transfers are scheduled to execute during the ceremony itself, using the celebration as perfect cover while everyone's attention is focused on the vows. $2.3 million, transferred in stages to avoid triggering automatic fraud alerts. But worse than the money is the travel itinerary I intercept. A family emergency that will require Julian to leave immediately after the reception. Flight to Miami, then a connection to the Cayman Islands. By tomorrow morning, Julian Thorne will cease to exist, and Maya will wake up to empty accounts and federal charges. Transfer initiated, $2.3 million. Execution time, 6:47 p.m. Estimated ceremony duration, 47 minutes. He'll be gone before they cut the cake. I watch the countdown on my screen, feeling helpless fury build in my chest. While Maya says her vows, promising to love and honor this monster, he'll be systematically destroying her financial future. While she kisses him at the altar, sealing her fate, he'll be transferring the last of her inheritance to accounts she'll never be able to trace. The pregnancy announcement last night wasn't just about timeline acceleration. It was about ensuring Maya would be too vulnerable to fight back when the truth comes out. Pregnant, broke, facing federal charges, and abandoned, exactly where Julian wants her. But he's made one crucial error in his calculations. He's forgotten that Maya's sister is watching, and I'm not the helpless nerd he thinks I am. At 5:30 p.m., 30 minutes before ceremony, I'm sitting in my car across from the church, watching guests arrive in their designer outfits and expensive cars. Maya's law school colleagues, our extended family, Julian's supposed business associates, all here to witness what they think is a fairy tale wedding. Then a car pulls up that makes my blood run cold. A woman steps out in elegant wedding guest attire, navy blue dress, perfect makeup, the kind of understated sophistication that screams money and class. But I recognize her face from the photos in Julian's files. Sarah Chen, Marcus Chen's previous victim. Through my earpiece monitoring venue security, I realize she isn't here for revenge. She's been invited by Julian himself as his business partner from San Francisco. The guests around her greet her warmly, accepting Julian's introduction without question. But why would he invite her? Why risk exposure by bringing his previous victim to Maya's wedding? Then it hits me, and the realization is so twisted, so psychologically sadistic, that it takes my breath away. He wants her to watch. Julian isn't just a con artist or even a serial predator. He's a collector of human suffering, and Sarah's presence here isn't about business or maintaining his cover story. It's about power. about forcing his previous victim to witness him destroy another woman, knowing she's powerless to stop it. She's not here to stop him, she's here to watch him do it again. I watch Sarah enter the church, her composure perfect but her hands shaking slightly as she takes a seat in the back. She knows exactly what's happening here. She knows what Julian is about to do to Maya. And Julian has positioned her to have a front row seat to the destruction. The depth of his cruelty is breathtaking. This isn't just about money, it's about psychological dominance, about proving his superiority over the women he destroys. But Julian has made one fatal miscalculation. He's brought the perfect witness to his own downfall. And I'm about to give Sarah Chen the front row seat to something far more satisfying than Maya's destruction. She's going to watch Julian Thorne's entire world burn. Act 3. Hash into the abyss. 5:45 p.m., 15 minutes until ceremony. I sit alone in my rental car across from the Gothic church, staring at the stream of guests flowing through the massive oak doors. My laptop bag rests on the passenger seat, heavy with printed evidence that could save Maya's life: bank records, identity theft documentation, photos of Julian's previous victims, the federal charges being prepared in her name. 300 guests are gathering inside. Maya's law school colleagues who could tank her career with whispered rumors, partners from her firm who control her future, extended family who have known her since birth, all dressed in their finest, carrying expensive gifts, ready to celebrate what they believe is Maya's fairy tale ending. I could walk in there right now, stand up during the speak now or forever hold your peace moment, show them everything. The truth would explode across that sanctuary like a bomb, destroying Julian's facade in front of everyone who matters to Maya. But it would also destroy Maya. Her dream wedding ruined, her reputation shattered, her colleagues watching her personal life implode in real time. The humiliation would follow her for years, the brilliant lawyer who almost married a con artist, saved at the altar by her unstable sister. My hands shake as I grip the steering wheel. Every scenario I've run through my head ends the same way. There's no version of this where Maya doesn't get hurt. No way to expose Julian without destroying the day she's dreamed about since we were children, playing dress-up in our grandmother's wedding veil. But there's only one version where she survives. Through the car window, I watch Julian emerge from a side entrance, resplendent in his custom tuxedo. He's checking his phone, probably monitoring the bank transfers that are set to execute during the ceremony. In 45 minutes, he'll have drained every account Maya has access to. By tomorrow morning, she'll be bankrupt, pregnant, and facing federal charges for crimes she didn't commit. The church bells begin to chime, calling guests to take their seats. There's no version of this where I don't hurt her, I whisper to my empty car, but there's only one version where she survives. 6:00 p.m., ceremony beginning. I slip through the church's side entrance, my heart hammering against my ribs. The sanctuary is filling with guests, their excited chatter echoing off the vaulted ceiling. Flowers cascade from every surface, white roses and baby's breath, Maya's favorite combination since she was 12. The bridal suite is on the second floor, accessed through a narrow staircase that creaks under my feet. I can hear Maya's voice through the door, laughing with her bridesmaids as they make final adjustments to her dress. The photographer steps out, laden with equipment. 5 minutes until processional, he calls over his shoulder. This is my window, 30 seconds, maybe less. I slip into the bridal suite. Maya stands before a full-length mirror, and she's absolutely radiant. The dress we picked out together last spring fits her perfectly, the cathedral train spreading behind her like spilled moonlight. Her dark hair is swept up in an elegant chignon, our grandmother's pearl earrings catching the light. She looks like everything she's ever dreamed of being. Maya, my voice comes out as a croak. She spins around, her face transforming from joy to fury in an instant. Get out, I told you to stay away. Please just listen, I have proof, bank records, federal charges, everything. Julian isn't who you think he is. His real name is Marcus Chen, and before that David Rodriguez. He's done this before, Maya, 3 times. He marries women, drains their accounts, then disappears while they face criminal charges for his crimes. I pull out my phone, the evidence file ready to display. Look at this. Sarah Chen, his previous victim, she's here tonight, Maya. She's sitting in your wedding as his guest because he wants her to watch him destroy you too. Maya's face goes white, but not with realization, with rage. Stop it. Her voice is a harsh whisper, mindful of the guests downstairs. I know what this is, Zofia. Julian warned me you'd try this. He said you can't stand that someone actually loves me enough to marry me. The words hit like a physical blow. He warned you. He showed me your internet search history, your attempts to hack into his company. He said you've been stalking him for months, that you're having some kind of breakdown because you can't handle being alone. Tears start in her eyes, but they're not tears of confusion. They're tears of pity, for me. Maya, please. He said you'd come here with fake evidence, made-up stories about other women. He said you're so desperate to sabotage my happiness that you'd fabricate an entire conspiracy. She steps back from me, her wedding dress rustling. I didn't want to believe my own sister could be so cruel. The room spins around me. Julian didn't just anticipate my evidence. He poisoned Maya against it weeks ago. Every proof I've gathered, every document I've uncovered, he's already explained away as the desperate fabrications of a jealous sister having a mental breakdown. Maya, I'm begging you. Get out. Her voice is cold, final. Security is waiting outside. If you're not gone in 10 seconds, they'll escort you out in handcuffs. Through the window, I can see guests taking their seats downstairs. The processional music is about to begin. In 30 minutes, Maya will be married to a monster who spent months turning her against the only person trying to save her. I back toward the door, my evidence useless, my sister lost. I love you, I whisper. Maya turns back to the mirror, adjusting her veil with shaking hands. If you loved me, you'd let me be happy. 6:15 p.m., ceremony in progress upstairs. I retreat from the bridal suite, my legs unsteady, my mind reeling from the complete failure of my last desperate attempt. The sound of the processional music drifts down from the sanctuary above, canon in D, Maya's favorite piece since high school orchestra. The basement corridor is dimly lit, lined with storage rooms and maintenance access. I'm heading for the exit, defeated, when a figure emerges from the shadows. Julian, in his perfect tuxedo, no longer bothering to hide the predator behind his charming mask. Zofia Nowak, his voice is silk over steel. The woman who took down the Meridian cryptocurrency ring, the hacker who exposed Senator Morrison's offshore accounts, the cybersecurity specialist who helped the FBI crack the Russian election interference case. My blood turns to ice. What? Did you really think I'd let some nobody's sister threaten me? He steps closer, and I can see the cold calculation in his eyes that Maya has never been allowed to witness. I've been building your downfall since the day we met. The corridor feels like it's closing in around me. You knew who I was. I know everything about you, your security clearance, your government contracts, your legendary reputation in certain circles. His smile is razor sharp. Maya thinks she's marrying a tech entrepreneur, but I'm actually marrying the sister of The Zofia Nowak, the woman whose testimony could destroy me if she ever got close enough to gather real evidence. The cease and desist order, the harassment claims, all part of discrediting you before you could become a threat, though I must admit, you've been more persistent than I anticipated. He adjusts his cufflinks, casual as discussing the weather. The beauty of it is, Maya will never believe you now. I've spent months painting you as an unstable, jealous spinster who can't handle her sister's success. Above us, the ceremony music swells. Maya is walking down the aisle right now, radiant and trusting, toward the man who's systematically destroyed every aspect of my credibility. Sarah Chen is upstairs. I manage. Sarah's here as my guest. She knows exactly what's happening, and she knows there's nothing she can do to stop it, just like you. His mask slips completely now, revealing something cold and hungry underneath. I collect brilliant women, Zofia. I break them systematically, scientifically. And the best part, I make them complicit in their own destruction. The sound of applause drifts down from above. Maya has reached the altar. You're too late, Julian says, straightening his bow tie. In 20 minutes, she'll be my wife. In 2 hours, she'll be bankrupt. By tomorrow, she'll be facing federal charges while I'm sipping cocktails in the Cayman Islands. He turns to leave, then pauses. Oh, and Zofia. When Maya asks why her brilliant hacker sister couldn't save her, tell her it's because you were never half as smart as you thought you were. 6:30 p.m., mid-ceremony. I stand alone in the basement corridor, Julian's words echoing in my head like a death sentence. Above me, the ceremony continues, Maya promising to love, honor, and cherish the man who's about to destroy her life. But then I remember something from my earlier reconnaissance. The venue's maintenance tunnels, accessed through the basement storage rooms. Old passages that run beneath the entire building, originally used for heating and electrical systems. If I can reach the AV control room through the tunnels, I might be able to bypass Julian's network security entirely. Physical access trumps all digital protection. It's the first rule of cybersecurity. He can't have anticipated everything. I find the maintenance panel behind a stack of folding chairs, exactly where the building schematics showed it would be. The tunnel beyond is narrow, dusty, lined with pipes and electrical conduits. I crawl through on my hands and knees, my bridesmaid dress tearing on rough concrete, my laptop bag scraping against the tunnel walls. Physical access trumps all security, I mutter, pulling myself forward through the darkness. He can't have anticipated everything. The tunnel splits into multiple directions, following the building's layout. I take the branch that should lead to the AV room, guided by the building plans I memorized earlier. My phone's flashlight illuminates cables and junction boxes, the building's hidden circulatory system. Behind me, the sound of the ceremony grows fainter. Maya is saying her vows right now, promising her life to a monster while I crawl through the guts of the building like a desperate rat. But for the first time in hours, I feel a spark of hope. Julian protected his digital systems, but he couldn't protect against someone crazy enough to crawl through maintenance tunnels in a bridesmaid dress. The tunnel ahead opens into a larger space, the mechanical room that houses the building's main electrical panels. And beyond that, if I'm right, the AV control room where my backdoor script is waiting. I'm going to make it. I'm actually going to make it. 6:45 p.m., ceremony concluding. I reach the maintenance panel that opens into the AV control room, my hands shaking with exhaustion and desperate hope. Through the thin walls, I can hear the ceremony reaching its climax, the exchange of rings, the final vows, the moment that will legally bind Maya to her destroyer. But I still have time. The slideshow isn't scheduled until the reception. If I can access the system now, upload my evidence to replace the wedding photos, I can expose Julian in front of all 300 guests when they least expect it. I work the panel open with my fingers, grateful for the basic maintenance skills I learned during my early hacking days. The room beyond is dark, filled with professional AV equipment, projectors, soundboards, the computer systems that will control tonight's reception. I slip through the opening and immediately freeze. Someone is sitting in the operator's chair, silhouetted against the glow of multiple monitors. As my eyes adjust to the darkness, I recognize him, the AV technician from earlier, the one whose laptop I used to plant my backdoor script. He turns around slowly, his smile visible in the monitor glow. Ms. Nowak, his voice is calm, professional. Mr. Thorne said you might try the tunnels. My heart stops. You're working with him. I've been Julian's partner for 3 years. Sarah Chen, Jennifer Walsh, now Maya. He gestures to the monitors, which show multiple camera feeds from the ceremony above. We've refined the process considerably. On the screens, I can see Maya and Julian at the altar, their hands joined, the officiant speaking the final words that will make them husband and wife. The laptop, I whisper, my backdoor script. Oh, we found that hours ago. Clever work, actually. Julian was impressed. He pulls up a code window on his screen, showing my script, modified, corrupted, useless. But he didn't know you'd already been inside our system for hours. Wait, what? You see, when you planted that script, you had to access our network through my machine. And when you did that, you left traces. Digital fingerprints that led us right back to your hotel room, your personal devices, your government access codes. The room spins around me. No. Julian doesn't just steal money, Ms. Nowak. He steals identities, lives, futures. The technician's smile widens. And tomorrow morning, when the FBI traces those cryptocurrency transfers back to their source, they're going to find your digital signature on every transaction. On the monitors above, the officiant raises his hands. You may now kiss the bride. Maya and Julian kiss as 300 guests applaud, sealing not just their marriage but my sister's doom. Because while I was trying to save her, Julian was using my own rescue attempt to frame me for his crimes. I'm not just watching my sister marry a monster. I'm watching her marry the man who's about to send me to federal prison for his crimes. 7:00 p.m. Reception beginning, cocktail hour. I sit alone in the empty church sanctuary, the AV technician's words echoing in my head like a death sentence. Through the stained glass windows, I can see guests moving toward the reception hall next door, their laughter and celebration a stark contrast to the devastation crushing my chest. Maya is married. The bank transfers are executing right now. I can see the notifications on my phone as Julian systematically drains every account she has access to. $2.3 million, disappearing in real time while she poses for photos and accepts congratulations from friends who have no idea they're witnessing her destruction. My phone buzzes with an encrypted message from my FBI contact. Irregularities detected in your security clearance. Report for questioning Monday morning. Julian didn't just frame me for his financial crimes. He's destroying my career, my reputation, my entire life. By Monday, I'll be suspended from my job under federal investigation, branded as a cybercriminal who used government access to commit fraud. The perfect revenge against the sister who tried to save Maya. I stare at the altar where they exchanged vows, holding my phone with the remote trigger for my evidence script, the one that Julian's accomplice corrupted hours ago. Every plan I made, every backup I prepared, every desperate gambit I attempted, he anticipated all of it. But then I hear something that makes my blood freeze. Laughter, familiar laughter, drifting from the reception hall next door. Sarah Chen's laugh. I stand on unsteady legs and move toward the doorway connecting the church to the reception venue. Through the glass, I can see the cocktail hour in full swing, guests mingling with champagne glasses, Maya radiant in her wedding dress, Julian working the room like the consummate host. And there, near the bar, Sarah Chen is laughing at something Julian just whispered in her ear. She's not here as his victim, she's here as his partner. The final piece clicks into place, and the truth is so horrifying, so perfectly sadistic, that it takes my breath away. Sarah Chen isn't Julian's previous victim, she's his accomplice. The woman I thought he'd destroyed is actually helping him destroy others. The bank records I found, the evidence of her victimization, all fabricated. Part of an elaborate cover story designed to make Julian look like a serial predator instead of what he really is. The front man for a sophisticated criminal organization that specializes in targeting brilliant, successful women. Maya isn't his third victim, she's probably his 30th. I tried to save your wedding, Maya, I whisper to the empty sanctuary, my voice echoing off the vaulted ceiling. Now I'm going to save your life. Something shifts inside me. The despair, the defeat, the crushing weight of failure, it all transforms into something harder, colder, infinitely more dangerous. I'm done playing defense, done trying to convince people who won't listen, done being the crazy sister having a breakdown. Julian wants to destroy lives. Let me show him what real destruction looks like. 7:15 p.m., reception in full swing. I watch through the doorway as Sarah Chen makes her grand entrance to the reception proper, and the final horrifying piece of Julian's psychological sadism clicks into place. She's not here as his accomplice, she's here as his guest, but she doesn't know Maya exists. Through the crowd, I can see Julian smoothly separating the two women, introducing Sarah to Maya's family as his business partner from San Francisco, while steering Maya toward her law school colleagues. Two separate social circles, carefully managed so they never have extended contact. But Sarah's face when she glimpses Maya in her wedding dress. That's not the expression of an accomplice. That's the expression of a woman seeing her own nightmare replayed in real time. Julian has been running parallel cons, telling Sarah he's marrying someone else entirely, probably fed her a fake name, a fake story, convinced her this wedding is just a business obligation he has to attend. Meanwhile, he's told Maya that Sarah is a professional contact, nothing more. The scope of his psychological sadism is breathtaking. He's not just destroying Maya, he's forcing his actual previous victim to witness the destruction while keeping her isolated and helpless to intervene. He's not just a con man, I whisper, watching Julian work the room with practiced charm. He's a collector, and Maya is about to become collateral damage in his sick game. Sarah catches my eye across the room, and for a moment our gazes lock. I see recognition there, not of me personally, but of what I represent. The sister trying desperately to save someone she loves. The woman standing helplessly on the sidelines while Julian orchestrates another perfect destruction. She knows exactly what's happening here, and she knows there's nothing either of us can do to stop it. Or is there? I pull out my phone and send an anonymous text to the number I pulled from the venue's guest registry. The bride doesn't know about your history with Julian. He's been lying to both of you. Across the room, Sarah's phone buzzes. She reads the message and her face goes pale. For the first time tonight, Julian doesn't have complete control over all the variables in his equation. And I'm about to introduce a few more variables he never saw coming. Act 4. Justice Unveiled. 7:35 p.m. Reception slideshow prep begins. I watch from the shadows near the kitchen entrance as Sarah Chen mingles unknowingly with Maya's family, her face a mask of polite confusion as she tries to process the anonymous text I sent. Julian's carefully orchestrated separation is starting to crack. I can see him glancing nervously between his two targets as conversations naturally shift and merge. This is my window. I pull out my phone and activate the remote script through the backdoor I planted in the AV technician's laptop hours ago. Julian changed the main passwords, but he doesn't know I already have control through his partner's machine. The beauty of social engineering, there's always a weak link in the chain. My fingers fly across the phone screen, uploading the evidence package I've spent all day compiling. Bank records, identity theft documentation, the federal charges being prepared in Maya's name, all of it queued and ready to replace the wedding slideshow when I give the final command. I send another anonymous text to Sarah. The bride doesn't know about your history with Julian. He's been lying to both of you. Across the room, Sarah reads the message and her champagne glass trembles in her hand. She looks around the reception hall with new eyes, finally seeing what Julian has orchestrated. Two women, both brilliant, both successful, both being systematically destroyed by the same predator. He protected the front door, but left the back window wide open, I whisper to myself, watching my script load into the venue's servers. Amateur mistake for someone who thinks he's a mastermind. 7:45 p.m. Guests moving to reception tables. The reception hall dims as Maya's maid of honor takes the microphone to introduce the traditional slideshow of the couple's journey together. Crystal chandeliers cast warm light over 300 guests settling into their seats, champagne glasses catching the glow as conversations quiet in anticipation. Julian returns to the head table, having successfully separated Sarah from Maya with promises to explain everything later. He's completely unaware that his brief absence gave me the final window I needed to upload my evidence package. As he sits down, adjusting his bow tie with that satisfied smile I've learned to hate, my phone shows the script is loaded and ready. Maya beams beside him, radiant in her wedding dress, her hand resting protectively on her still flat stomach. She has no idea that while she was posing for photos, Julian was systematically draining every account she has access to. The bank transfers completed 20 minutes ago, $2, $3 million, gone forever into offshore accounts she'll never be able to trace. The AV technician, Julian's accomplice, gives me a smug wave from the back of the room. He thinks he corrupted my script hours ago. He thinks Julian anticipated every move I could make. But he doesn't know that, while they were congratulating themselves on their cleverness, I was uploading a completely different script through a backdoor they never even knew existed. Every fairy tale needs an ending, I whisper, my finger hovering over the trigger command. Time for the real story. 7:48 p.m., just before slideshow. Julian spots me in the back of the reception hall, my laptop open and connected to my phone's hotspot. His face transforms from satisfaction to rage as he realizes I'm still here, still fighting, still refusing to accept defeat. He storms across the room, his polished shoes clicking against the marble floor as 300 guests turn to watch the commotion. His groomsmen follow uncertainly, unsure whether to intervene as Julian's mask of charm finally slips completely. "Stick to your little games, nerd," he shouts, grabbing my laptop and smashing it to the floor in front of everyone. "I called you a nerd because that's all you are." The screen shatters with a satisfying crack, plastic and metal scattering across the reception hall floor. He grinds his heel into the broken screen, his face twisted with fury and triumph. Gasps echo through the room. Maya rises from her chair, her face pale with shock. "Julian, what are you doing?" "Protecting us from your psychotic sister," he snarls, not bothering to lower his voice. "She's been stalking me for months, trying to sabotage our wedding with her pathetic jealousy." The room falls silent, except for the whisper of expensive fabric as guests shift uncomfortably in their seats. Julian stands over the destroyed laptop, breathing hard, his perfect composure finally shattered. I just smile calmly and pull out my phone. "He didn't know I was an elite hacker," I say, loud enough for the entire room to hear. My voice carries clearly in the sudden silence, confident and steady for the first time all day. Julian's face goes white as I hold up my phone, the remote trigger displayed on the screen. The laptop was just for show. 7:50 p.m., the revelation moment. As Julian stands over the destroyed laptop, believing he's won, the slideshow screen behind him flickers. The romantic wedding photos that should be playing are replaced by something else entirely, a simple countdown appearing in bold white numbers against a black background. 10-9-8-7-6-5-4-3-2-1. Julian spins around in horror as the countdown reaches 0, and my preloaded script executes automatically from the venue's own servers. The screen transforms to show side-by-side code comparisons, Julian's revolutionary algorithms alongside the original MIT open-source project, complete with timestamps proving the theft. "Ladies and gentlemen," I announce, my voice carrying clearly through the stunned silence, "allow me to expose Julian Thorne as a fraudulent thief to all 300 guests." The evidence cascades across the screen in methodical precision. Forged MIT transcripts, fabricated employment records, shell companies funneling stolen money through cryptocurrency exchanges, each revelation more damning than the last. Julian lunges toward the AV controls, but his accomplice is already trying frantically to shut down the system. Too late, my script has administrative access now, locked with encryption they'll never crack in time. "You called me a nerd who should stick to little games," I continue, watching Julian's perfect world crumble in real time. "This little game just destroyed your life." Maya stares at the screen in growing horror, her hand pressed to her mouth as the scope of Julian's deception becomes undeniable. Around the room, 300 guests sit frozen, their phones out, recording everything. There's no coming back from this. No spin, no explanation, no way to contain the damage. Julian Thorne's empire of lies is collapsing in front of everyone who matters. 7:54 p.m., the evidence cascade continues. As Julian stands paralyzed in the middle of the reception hall, the slideshow continues its methodical destruction of his life. Real-time bank transfer screenshots appear on screen, Maya's accounts being drained at that very moment, $2.3 million disappearing into offshore accounts, while the wedding guests watch in horror. Maya Nowak, joint account ending in 4758, the screen displays. Transfer initiated, 6:47 p.m. Amount, $2,300,000. Status, complete. Maya's face goes white as she recognizes her own account numbers. That's my inheritance, my grandmother's trust fund. Transferred while you were saying your vows, I explain, my voice cutting through the shocked silence. He used your wedding ceremony as cover for the largest theft of your life. The screen shows more transfers, smaller amounts from Maya's checking account, her savings, even her law firm's escrow account that she has signature authority on. Every dollar she has access to, systematically stolen while she was promising to love and honor the man destroying her. Julian finally finds his voice. This is fabricated. She's having a breakdown. She's been stalking me for months. The pregnant ones never see it coming. Sarah Chen's voice cuts across the room like a blade. Every head turns as Sarah stands from her table in the back, her phone recording, her composed mask finally dropping to reveal the fury underneath. That's what you told me about Jennifer Walsh, she continues, stepping forward. Right before you disappeared with her life savings and left her to miscarry alone in a homeless shelter. The room erupts in horrified whispers as the final piece of Julian's psychological sadism is revealed. 7:58 p.m., the final evidence reveal. The slideshow's final sequence appears on screen, photographs of Julian's 3 previous abandoned brides, each in their wedding dress, each left bankrupt and broken. But these aren't the fabricated victims I thought I'd discovered. These are the real ones. Jennifer Walsh, 2019, Rebecca Martinez, 2020, Sarah Chen, 2021. The last photo shows Sarah herself on her wedding day, radiant and trusting, before Julian destroyed her life. And every head in the reception hall turns to see Sarah standing in the back of the room, no longer silent, no longer hiding. I came here tonight to warn Maya, Sarah says, her voice steady despite the tears streaming down her face. But I see someone already saved her. She holds up her phone, showing a recording app that's been running all evening. Julian invited me here as his business partner. He wanted me to watch him destroy another woman, knowing I was powerless to stop it. The room explodes in outraged whispers as the depth of Julian's cruelty becomes clear. This wasn't just theft, it was psychological torture, designed to maximize the suffering of everyone involved. I have recordings of him bragging about each victim, Sarah continues. How he targeted successful women, how he enjoyed watching them realize they'd been destroyed by someone they trusted completely. Julian backs toward the exit, his face a mask of desperate panic. You're all insane. This is a conspiracy. The FBI doesn't think so, I announce, pulling up the final screen on my phone. The slideshow displays a federal arrest warrant, issued 3 hours ago based on the evidence package I submitted this morning. They're waiting outside. 8:15 p.m., justice arrives. As if summoned by my words, FBI agents enter the reception hall through the main doors. Not by coincidence, I contacted them hours ago with my evidence package and Sarah Chen's testimony. They've been building their case all day while Julian thought he was building mine. Agent Martinez approaches the head table with handcuffs ready. Julian Thorne, you're under arrest for wire fraud, money laundering, and identity theft across state lines. Julian tries one last desperate gambit, grabbing Maya's hand. You can't believe this, sweetheart. It's all lies, fabricated by your jealous sister. Maya slowly removes her wedding ring, her legal training kicking in as she realizes the scope of what almost happened to her. The brilliant lawyer I've always known reasserts herself, pushing through the shock and betrayal to see the evidence clearly. The bank transfers are real, she says quietly, staring at Julian as if seeing him for the first time. The timestamps match exactly. You stole my money while I was marrying you. She turns to me, her eyes filled with tears but also with something else, gratitude and the love that Julian tried so hard to destroy. Thank you for saving my life, Zoe. I'm sorry I didn't trust you. As the FBI leads Julian away in handcuffs, his accomplice already in custody, Sarah Chen approaches our table. She and Maya look at each other, 2 brilliant women who almost lost everything to the same predator. He told me you were different, Sarah says quietly, that you were just a business arrangement. I'm sorry I couldn't warn you sooner. Maya reaches out and takes Sarah's hand. We're going to make sure he never does this to anyone else. I watch my sister, pregnant, betrayed, but not broken, begin to reclaim her strength. The money is gone, but Maya is alive, free, and surrounded by people who love her. Julian Thorne's perfect plan crumbled because he made one fatal mistake. He underestimated the power of a sister's love and a hacker's determination to protect it. As the reception hall slowly empties and the evidence screens finally go dark, I realize something that makes me smile for the first time in days. Julian was right about one thing. I really am just a nerd who plays little games. But my little games just saved my sister's life, and that's a victory worth more than all his stolen millions combined.
Zofia, thank you for bravely sharing your story. It highlights how underestimating someone's skills and love can lead to their downfall, turning personal agony into powerful justice. Comment what you'd do if you discovered a loved one's betrayal like this. If this resonated, like and subscribe for more tales of truth triumphing. I'm Eliza Quinn, and remember, veils off, justice on.